Hey y'all, welcome to chapter 15 of the Crucible Chronicles. I gotta say, I'm pretty excited for this chapter because we're actually going to take the first deck that I've ever purchased on the second-hand market, and we're going to take it out for a spin. Full disclosure, I have played this deck a number of times on my own, but as of yet hasn't been played on stream, so this will be kind of its debut in the public eye. So without further ado, let's hop into checking out the deck, and then we'll get into today's game. All right, so let me introduce to y'all Layla, Shielder of the Boring Castle. So this episode is just gonna be a little bit longer because I want to kind of explain some of the reasoning behind picking up this deck. Obviously, then also we'll be playing a game with it. But my initial, the initial thing that I was looking for, and after opening a bunch of mass mutation on stream, off stream, and obviously for the Crucible Chronicles and stuff as well. One thing that I had really wanted coming into mass mutation was a deck that had the Archivist, and specifically had the Archivist with autoencoder. So if you aren't familiar, the Archivist is this really cool rare logos creature with the text, if you archive the Archivist, archive it face up. While the Archivist is in your archives, instead of placing picking up all of your archives rather, you may choose to pick up any number of cards in your archives. So this is super cool because with something like autoencoder that randomly archives cards, it allows you to kind of not take a hit to kind of your the efficiency of your draw by picking up a bunch of stuff from your archives that's not of the active house. Now, this deck in particular isn't. So I was originally just going for something that had this combo with autoencoder Archivist. And this one I saw pretty early on, and I liked the fact that it had obviously the autoencoder and double eclectic inquiry, but I kind of passed over it because I was hoping to find something that had a reproducible way to archive the Archivist. Currently this deck, not currently, just this deck specifically doesn't have a good way to do that, doesn't have any way to do that, because of course eclectic inquiry are 2 random cards off the top of the deck. Everything that autoencoder archives is random from the top of the deck. However, I ended up coming back to this deck because of one card. It has a Dark Ember Vault, which again, if you haven't seen this card, another rare card. This one's kind of cool, a special rarity because it can actually show up in any house, which, I mean, this deck has it in Saurian. Despite the fact that the text here on, or the card image on decks and KeyForge is from Star Alliance. But anyways, this card is an artifact. After you play a mutant creature, draw a card, and each friendly mutant creature gets +2 power rather. And so that kind of brought me back to this deck, despite the fact that it didn't really have a great way to make the Archivist work in the way that I wanted the Archivist to work. But just kind of in looking at this deck, I just fell in love because it's got the Dark Ember Vault. I think it's got a total of 8 mutant creatures, 2 in Saurian with the Citizen Trixes, 2 in Sanctum with the Umbra Knight and Techno Knight. Techno Knight is actually also a really great card with autoencoder. Just first of all, a huge creature, 5 power, 2 armor. If the Dark Ember Vault is out, it's actually a 7 power, 2 armor creature with the ability Reap, discard a card from your hand if you do draw a card. And of course with the autoencoder, this counts as a discard. So you essentially, with autoencoder out, Reap, discard a card, archive a card, and then draw a card. So it's super cool, super cool. It also has this double Tirado. Each mutant creature gains Reap, draw a card with a number of mutants. Actually, Logos has the most mutants in a house in this deck with 4, double Tirado, Infomorph, and even Ivan. So that's pretty cool. So those were kind of the main things that I found interesting with the deck. And after having played it a little bit, and maybe I'll talk a little bit more about some of this stuff while we get into our first game, but it just it seems to have the ability to stick a Sanctum board, and has kind of some cool tricks and cool plays that I'm hoping to be able to show to you all over the next 5 episodes. I will say I think I played 13 games with this so far, and I think I'm 8 or 9 wins with it. There was definitely a rough couple games when I just started playing the deck. So hopefully I can kind of keep up that streak, but regardless, hoping to get a couple of good games with this deck to show you all. I think either way, even if this ends up not being something that is like, I wasn't really looking for something that was competitive. I just really thought that this was kind of a fun deck. It seemed like it was going to be cool on paper, and having played 12 games with it, it definitely has a lot of fun stuff going for it. So without further ado, let's hop into the first game. Quick caveat, normally I tend to just play casual unless I feel like I'm playing a little bit spicier deck, or if a deck that I'm trying for the first time is doing well in casual, I'll bump it up to competitive. Because I purchased this deck on the secondary market, I'm just going to skip right to competitive, just because it seems like a little bit like, obviously this is not something I've opened. I've sought it out and purchased it, so I kind of want to put it in that competitive playlist just to do a little bit more robust testing, if you will. But anyways, I hope these end up being some good games. Let's hop into the first one. Playing against John. Playing Quixote il Perspicace, Padre del Reatore. Some Logos Shadows. Interesting. So they do have a Borrow, which I feel like could be a little bit of a bummer for us. I actually haven't really played against a whole lot of decks that have Borrow, but maybe we can just kind of outspeed this deck. Good thing for, oh my goodness. Holy. Well, that's tough to turn down. That is tough to turn down, isn't it? I think what I'm going to do is we'll hold on to this. We'll throw out the autoencoder. I'm just going to kind of play. I'm just going to play right into this. Hopefully they don't pick up the Borrow too early. Usually what I'm looking for in an opening hand is either autoencoder or Dark Ember Vault. I think I'm going to get the autoencoder down first. We'll play out the Daughter and ditch the Archivist. So this will be actually really good test. I'm curious to see how we handle playing a deck that's very likely going to take one of our two main components. Let's go with Logos. Play out Daughter, autoencoder. We'll discard the Archivist to archive the Grey Rider with a Capture Pip. All right, they're going with Logos as well. All right, Lethalogica into Quixo. Oh, please. Oh, man, how good would it have been had they just blasted right through their Borrow. Just absolutely blasted right through it. That'd have been amazing. Okay. I think it's going to be time for us to... I mean, I got, like, some pretty nice stuff with Logos here. But I think I really want to get this Dark Ember Vault down. So I can kind of start threatening both these situations. We're not going to pick up our archives. We'll play out the Dark Ember Vault. I'm actually going to play out Monument to Octavia, and I'm going to discard Monument to Faust. What do we get? Okay, Praefectus Ludo. Then I think we play out this Thero Centurion, who will capture an Ember. See what that does for us. So we got standardized tests and got a second Daughter. We got the Spirit's Way, which can clear this board actually kind of nicely. Sacro Fiend. All right. How do we want to work this? I can actually wipe their board, throw out the Umbra Knight, then Grey Rider with it, and that also gets rid of this Pain Mail, so that's kind of nice. I think I kind of like that actually. We got this Grey Rider, so I think we'll... Kind of a weird play actually, but I'll take it. I'll pick up our archives, play the Spirit's Way. They do get a steal off of that. But we'll throw out the Umbra bots. Oh, bummer. Fangs of Gizelheart. Play that to the right, capturing one there, and then we'll ready Reap, and then I guess discard this Fangs of Gizelheart. Let's see what that does for us. So we got rid of the Pain Mail. They're going back into Logos. Playing Diametric Charge. All right. So they took care of the Daughter. And Mobius Scroll. All right. So I think this is going to be Logos for sure. We're not going to pick up our archives. We'll discard Standardized Testing. What do we archive? Nice. Honorable Claim. So I want to talk a little bit about that card here in a second. Ooh, Ancient Power, also really nice. We'll play Eclectic Inquiry. Do we want to do that? Let's play this out first. Okay, draw into Cornican Octavia. Draw with the Daughter into Gizelhart Zealots. Eclectic Inquiry. Okay. To grab the Infomorph and Professor Tirado. So that's pretty good on that. So I did want to talk about this Honorable Claim. This is actually kind of one of these, maybe not surprising. It's a little bit surprising to discover how effective this card is in this deck, but I think we have, let me count them real quick. We got Ardent Hero 1, Salvador 2, Zealot 3, Baldric 4, Techno Knight 5, Umber Knight 6, Grey Rider is a monk or something, and then Lord Golgotha 7. So we have 7 cards, 7 night creatures for this Honorable Claim. All right, so they got the Dark Ember Vault. That's okay, fine by me. Oh man, vandalized my Shrix. That's brutal. That is pretty brutal. So we can Honorable Claim now. That actually isn't too bad. Yeah, let's go with Sanctum. I'll pick up our archives. Play out the... we'll Reap here to draw into... Okay, was that Oddclad? Or Even Ivan, rather. Play out the Zealots to the left. We'll Reap, because there's nothing to fight. Throw down Baldric. Throw down Lord Golgotha. And then we'll Honorable Claim to capture 1 onto each of those creatures. Which actually works pretty well for next turn. Pretty well for next turn. For this Ancient Power, if we want to go that route. A little bit sad they took the Dark Ember Vault. Could have had some... There's a kind of fun synergy where you, with one of the Shrixes, you fight them up to 3 damage, and then exile them across the board. All right, brings back Quixo. All right, so the question for us is, what do we want to do? Do we want to draw a bunch of cards, or do I want to protect this Ember? We do have the Monument to Octavia, so that's pretty good. Yeah, let's actually go. Let's go with Saurian here. So I could send this Umber Knight across the board, but I think I'm going to send Gizelhart's Zealot. So we'll start by playing Salt, so our opponent can't Reap. We'll discard Cornican Octavia, which activates this Monument to Octavia, so it can capture 2 Ember. We will capture 2 more Ember onto the Gizelhart Zealot. Play out Praefectus Ludo to the left, dealing a damage. We'll exile Gizelhart Zealot. And then we'll Ancient Power just to ward all those. Sometimes, I mean, it's definitely nice to have like a Shrix to be able to ward. But I'm hoping that this will just be enough. And I should say no Reaping. No Reaping. take a quick peek there. A couple Sanctum cards left. I could have done the math, but now we're definitely in a cool spot here where we can throw down this second Torado and then reap to draw 2 cards, which is pretty good. Although a little bit not great with Bot Bookton out there, Bot Bookton and the Infomorph. All right, so we will forge. That's good. Baldric. I think actually this could be a good Sanctum turn for us. Lord Golgotha. Well, Baldric can fight into Bot Bookton. Give us 2 Ember. Lord Golgotha can fight into Gizelhard Zealot. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's go Sanctum. We can throw down this Salvador, or I'll pick this up. Let's see. So I can archive a card. Oh dear. What do I want to do? Oh, I can also draw. Okay, so that's actually pretty good. Let's reap with the Ember Knight to draw into Smite. Oh my gosh, that's so nice. So, all right, we'll have Baldric the Bold. Fight into Bot Bookton. Oh yes, I see. Then we can. Okay, I forgot the Dark Ember Vault. I'm a goofball. You know, we're just fighting. We're just doing fighting. These are fighting words. We'll smite Baldric into Infomorph for some more Ember. Play out Salvador. We'll definitely play out the Techno Knight. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I'm actually going to pitch the Salvador, so we reshuffle. Don't know if that's actually good, but we're up to 10. Up to 10. So one thing I have noticed about this deck is because it has the autoencoder and Dark Ember Vault, like there's sort of some stuff built in where you don't like specifically need to draw into one of them. Like one of the more recent games I played with this, I just like didn't ever draw into the autoencoder, and the Dark Ember Vault was enough to make some stuff happen. All right, so we got Nexus Rad Penny, Tempting Offer onto the Umbra Knight. Okay, so we'll do that. Really wanted to take a Logos turn to get some nice reaps off, but we do have this double Shrix plus the Faust, so I can steal 2, throw down Faust. Question is, do I just want to force them to forge for a higher amount, or let's do the steal? Oh yeah, let's go Saurian. Saurian, we're not going to pick up our archives. We'll reap here, play out Citizen Shrix to steal 1. Play out Citizen Shrix. Interesting. So what I can do is I can actually force them to forge. Right? Is that right? Oh, no, I have to capture. Well, whatever. Let's just force them to not forge. We'll capture 1 onto Lord Golgotha, and then I don't think we exalt. Capture 1 there. So yeah, that's pretty good. Alright, so Anguish comes down. And the Pandemonium. Okay. Putting some damage onto Faust. Okay. We got the Dominator Bauble, Mark of Dis into Logos. Alright, it works for me. We're not going to pick up our archives. I think we do actually play down this Torado. Let's see, do we Eclectic Inquiry first? Sure. Alright, Opposition Research could have been useful, I suppose, but we'll play this down. Play that down, because these are all mutants. And then we'll Reap to draw 2 more, which does poo nothing for us. Yeah, see, so now we're in a pretty decent spot if they don't deal with these Torados, because we can just draw into Oblivion with Logos if we want, or we can call Saurian and draw a good amount. We only get one set of draws in Sanctum, which is a bummer. Looks like they're prioritizing killing Faust, which is fine. Which is fine to me. Alright, capturing 1 on Anguish. Honestly, I think we might take a Sanctum turn here. It's just too good with this Lord Golgotha. Yeah, let's go Sanctum. What else do we have in here? Spirit's Way. So we'll grab that. We'll throw down the Ardent Hero. We'll Reap with the Techno Knight. Reap with the Techno Knight to discard the Spirit's Way. Oh my goodness. We'll play out... Well, let's do this before I forget. Lord Golgotha is going to fight into Quixo. And then Lord Golgotha is also going to be smitten. Smitten into Rad Penny. And then I think we just play out a bunch of stuff. Play out Baldric, Umbra Knight, and then Honorable Claim, Ardent Hero, Salvador, Baldric, Umbra Bots, Zealot. There we go. And then we'll end our turn. And I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of how this deck works. It's particularly brutal with some of the bits of Ember control. Like the Saurians tend to exalt themselves with the Citizen Trixes, and got that really nice Faust with the capture. So you can get these crazy ancient powers going. All right, so we got the Effervescent Principle. Diametric Charge, trying to take down the Shrixi. Alright, well, I guess this is going to be Saurian. Go Saurian. We'll pick up our archives. We'll Reap. Discard that. Discard that. Reap. I don't have any more to capture, sadly. I don't have any more Emberfrost to capture. It's a bummer. We'll exile, I guess this one over there. We'll Reap, play out Theros-Centurion, who sadly isn't going to get warded. And then we'll, oh my gosh, Ancient Power into Oblivion. Oh man, that's kind of crazy. Not gonna lie, it just has like cool synergies, really cool synergies that I love. I'm really happy to know that the that after losing the whatever it is, the Dark Ember Vault, we're still all right. Red Heart armor coming in hot again. All right, so Fangs. Let's see, is 5 our most powerful? 5 because we don't have Dav. They've got 5 on the Shrix. We could purge the Shoulder Id. Purge the Shoulder Id. I think this might be a Sanctum turn. We could also just Reap into Oblivion. No, let's just do Sanctum. Let's deal with some stuff. Take cards in your archives into your hand. No, thank you. So Fang's pretty sure takes out Shoulder Id. Oh, interesting. Get to Purge. Purge so they don't get the steal. No, let's just get rid of that. Let's just get rid of that. We'll Reap here to get rid of. I mean, Archivist, sure. Giselheart Zealot can take down Citizen Tricks. We got Snudge over there. Who else do I want to kill? So who's big? Hystricog is a mutant, 6 power. Ember Knight, you know what? I'm just gonna Reap. Oh my goodness, we got Smite. Dear, I don't know. We just fight there. No damage is dealt. So I think we kill the Hystricog. Maybe we Reap here. Smite Baldric into the Hystricog. Reap here. Grey Rider. Deploy. Who do I even want to fight? Left. I think we capture onto Infomorph. Use the Grey Rider to fight into Snudge. Just so there's nothing weird happening. And I think that's the end of our turn. I will say this deck also does seem to excel quite nicely. Excel quite nicely if our opponent can't. If our opponent doesn't have a board wipe. So that's definitely a pretty positive thing here. It's a Dark Ember Library Access turn. Oh man. Well, there you have it. That is game 1 in the books, and I'm happy to say it's kind of deck has kind of performed in this game as it has in the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 games that I played it with. Again, all competitive. So definitely happy to see that. I at least got one game in this chapter that worked kind of the way I expected it to. So hopefully we can kind of continue that. Obviously, if it isn't clear, this deck kind of just is speedy. But I like enjoy the way the speed works. We have the autoencoder on the one hand, so we're sort of rewarded for discarding cards that we're not going to use. There are also some nice targets to discard, you know, like Spirit's Way, So Salt, situationally, stuff like standardized testing, opposition research, they're like good options to discard, which I think just helps me. But then on the other side of it, there's a certain amount of speed that comes from the Dark Ember Vault with 8 mutant creatures, which again isn't a huge amount of mutants, but it's enough that it becomes useful. And then we can also gain some speed from having the 2 daughters, which is really nice. So 2 daughters can, if autoencoder isn't down or Dark Ember Vault isn't down, we can still get our hand size up to 8. And then also we have like an additional option of getting speed with the double Tirados and a good amount of mutants. So definitely kind of some interesting, I'm not sure what the word is, some backup plans to kind of help feed the efficiency and speed of the deck, which is kind of one of the things that really drew me to it, and why I definitely just love playing it. Anyways, thank you so much for checking out this video. I will be back later in this week with another game with Layla, Shielder of the Boring Castle, and I do hope you'll check back for that. Until next time, so long.